Hello and welcome. You're watching India Today and I'm being joined by some prolific women today to talk about Women's Day and women's empowerment. But I also want to say that for all of us here, and I'm sure they will agree, Women's Day is every day of the year, not just one day in a year. So I want to first begin with Neena ma'am. Yes.
यंग लड़कियों से बात यंग लड़कियों से बात करो. मैं बहुत सालों से बात करती हूँ. वो यंग लड़की से ही बात कर रही है.
आपसे ही सबसे पहले जानना है कि ये हम एक दिन ना we decide that it's Women's Day and it's a celebration of tokenism and it's a bit of a rhetoric, but I think the world has moved far beyond, and empowerment of women is being observed in every strata of society, whether it is cinema, whether it is upbringing. You are a mother. You have really shattered the glass ceiling when it comes to the stereotypical woman too. Tell us a little more about moving beyond the tokenism and how you manage it.
But if I think about all that what you have been telling me, I feel कि मैं तो कुछ ग्लास व्लास नहीं तोड़ा. मैं तो मतलब अभी भी कुछ पुराने ख्यालात की लड़की हूँ काफी हद तक.
Well, that's not what we perceive you to be. When it comes to your daughter, when it comes to Badhai Ho and the character you played in Badhai Ho as well, don't you all think she has broken the glass ceiling in every way possible?
Where the female protagonists' parts are concerned,
yeah,
you know, considering she has already had a career before Badhai Ho happened. So, and what she did there, it definitely opened a new avenue and new way of looking at what a female protagonist at a certain age of a certain caliber can do in a film which has a leading male protagonist, a saleable star. You know, for me, she became the ultimate star of the film.
The zamana badal gaya hai, isn't it, Taapsee? Don't you think that now you are seeing that tectonic shift even in cinema, women-centric roles? Look at the body of works that you have done. Fabulous.
Definitely there's a shift. I don't know if I cannot even think that how would it had been had I been through the situations that she's been through. So definitely it has changed, but we're still far away from equality. Let's be very honest about that. Yeah, things have changed a lot, but we are far away from equality in every department.
And why do you say so?
It's a universal fact right now. Actually, it's not just in our country. It's everywhere in most of the industries, where be it you call pay gaps to, you know, the leading position. How many HODs are women? How many leaders, so to say, are women? If you see that disparity between the male-female ratio, it's there for everyone to see and understand that the equality is still not really there. And hence, Women's Day helps me to assess that and move forward in that direction where I feel, okay, I did this much. Now, what goal am I setting for myself for the next year? I don't celebrate womanhood on Women's Day because that I'm proud of every day. But what I celebrate Women's Day is as what can be done to get to that mark of equality myself and acknowledge and notice what others have done in the same regard. And that's how I look at it.
So, you know, you were speaking about pay parity to a very large extent. Do you feel the pay parity when it comes to content, when it comes to streaming platforms, or when it comes to films still exist in society? Because there have been actresses, I know, mainstream ones like Deepika Padukone to Kareena Kapoor, they've all in the past also raked up this particular issue saying that, look, the male protagonist gets paid more and we women do not get paid more. Do you see that happening or do you see a shift happening?
I think Taapsee would be a better person to answer that because I've just started my career.
But you've done it.
But I always tell them that please give me something that I deserve. And today, yes, I am open for negotiation. I just do not settle in what I get, what they offer me. Obviously, they ask me what's my expectation. And when I tell them my expectation, they be like,
That's always more, na?
yeah.
You're expecting too much.
Too much. But that's what I'm expecting. If you ask me the question, what are you expecting? So I'm obviously going to tell you what, you know, I expect. But I think Taapsee would be the right person for that to answer.
So I'll tell you 3 years back when, 3 years back, say roughly, whatever I used to quote, more or less, they used to give it to me, even for the films that I'm the protagonist of, because it was anyway way less than a male counterpart salary, because I was being very realistic about, okay, are you getting audience in theater? Are there people coming to watch you because you've done the film? Are they coming to, they trust you that much to watch you? So at that time I had a reality check. Okay, you know, let's just make, that's what I call stardom. So I said, okay, fine, you need to attain a certain star value to command a certain prize. Then couple of years later, like now, when I didn't sign a film for 2 years, last 2 years, because I had said yes to a couple of films which I was busy completing between these COVID lockdowns and all. And I was patiently waiting to see what do I get as a result? Do people start trusting in my choice more in these 2 years constantly? Then I can confidently ask for a hike.
Right.
Which I did now after 2 years, saying, okay, you know, now I know people trust my choice somewhere, that, you know, if I've chosen a film, it'll be worth their time and money.
That probably did not have much to do with gender, but the fact that you took time establishing yourself, and you could have been a man and doing that too.
But, you know, the trajectory, the speed of the trajectory is different. With a man, what happens is one hit of a certain 100 crore kind, you know, you just shoot up your salary like that. With a woman, it doesn't happen like that. I have to be consistent and constant in delivering good films and hits, and then slowly I can ask for it. I'm not going to talk about the big male A-listers. I'll talk about the guys who started around the same time I started in the film industry, who would have probably given lesser number of hits, but probably the amount that 1 or 2 hit films that they did collected more than, you know, my protagonist films. But my hit ratio, hit is what? If your film earns money, right? I call that a hit, right? If my film is made only in 20 crores and it collects a 30 or a 40 crore, it's a hit. Versus if a 80 crore film ends up collecting 90 crore, 85 crores, 82 crores, that's also a hit. But you know, it's a different kind of, you assess it yourself. So now a man whose price of the film, cost of the film is high and ends up collecting at the box office a higher amount, his salary shoots up, and till date, I can't match the male counterpart's salary, who started around the same time, has given probably lesser number of hits technically. I can't match.
So that's
salary.
2022, and that is a very hard reality and a bitter pill to swallow even now as we celebrate Women's Day. Let's also talk about representation of women, and that seems to have changed quite a bit. Would you say so? Because I watched you in Bombay Begums, and you know, the representation of the character, the female-centric, and every character in Bombay Begums as well. That was somewhere shattering the glass ceiling.
I started with television as well, and I did a role where my husband is hitting me, you know, मुझे मारता है, and then TRP was high. एंड जब वो मुझे मारता था टीआरपी हाई जाता था, और मुझे पहले नहीं बताया गया था, बट टीआरपी हाई जाने लगा तो वो ट्रैक बढ़ने लगा, तो मुझे इतना गुस्सा आता था. वो मेरा को एक्टर भी हंसता रहता था, आज अमृता बहुत गुस्सा होगी क्योंकि मुझे उसको मारना है. और ऐसे सारे सीन्स के मैं उसके शूज निकाल रही हूँ, वो दारू पी के आ रहा है, एंड आई एम लाइक, ओह नो, आई कांट डू दिस. बट देन as you said, I start from there, but and I end at Dhamaka, where, you know, I'm giving, मतलब कार्तिक के कैरेक्टर को जिस तरह से वो औरत, she's giving him back, and the way she's controlling him, she's to like other league. But मुझे लगा कि this is, I see my career and I see how women characters went. For that matter, कुसुम देवी यादव, गायतोंडे को उतना बड़ा प्रोटोगनिस्ट है, उसको वो हाथ में रख रही है, you know. So, and as you said, Lily, for that matter, उसकी सिचुएशन बहुत पैथेटिक हो सकती है कि भाई बार डांसर थी, अब प्रोस्टिट्यूट बन गई है, बट शी इज लिविंग ऑन terms. She is not like, oh my god.
तो Lily was never a damsel in distress. तो अगर आप representation of Lily भी आपका character अगर देखो, तो आपका character काफी strong था. You were proud of what you were doing. It was bar dancing or whatever it was. You were proud. You were making ends meet. You were, you know, going ahead and feeding your children or doing what it took.
Exactly.
You never for once as a character ended up behaving like a damsel in distress in this male-dominated world.
I mean, देखो कैसा हो रहा है. हालांकि her life is hell, right? I mean, जिस तरह से वो जीती होगी. But I loved कि अलंकृता ने जिस तरह से उसे ये दिया कि she is not, and she says कि मैं एक माँ हूँ. I happen to do this, but if you ask me who am I, I'm a mother. और वो इंसान उसे कहता है कि तुम कैसे, of course I'm a mother. I'm just doing this to, क्योंकि मुझे मेरे बेटे को सिखाना है, बड़ा बनाना है. And for me, she's the, you know, one of the strongest characters I have portrayed, right?
तो नीना जी, आप तो बहुत टाइम से फिल्म इंडस्ट्री में काम कर रहे हैं, तो आपने ये शिफ्ट देखा है उस जमाने में और आज 2022 में जिस तरीके से representation of female characters जो हो रहा है, या पे पैरिटी तो अभी भी तापसी जी ने बताया कि उतना नहीं है, and there is a fair bit of discrimination right there. तो आपको क्या लगता है, शिफ्ट आया है नहीं आया है?
हाँ, बहुत शिफ्ट आया है, पहले की अपेक्षा बहुत शिफ्ट आया है। इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन के हिसाब से बहुत छोटा शिफ्ट आया है, पर शिफ्ट आया है क्योंकि औरतें इंडिपेंडेंट हो रही हैं, अपना पैसा कमा रही हैं, और तो समाज भी उनके प्रति कुछ ज़्यादा उदार हो गया या उसको होना पड़ा है। और नए नए जो फिल्म मेकर्स आ रहे हैं, OTT प्लेटफॉर्म्स ने बहुत मदद की है हम सब लोगों को, और नए नए फिल्म मेकर्स जो आ रहे हैं, यंगस्टर्स जो आ रहे हैं, दे आर वेरी दे आर पिकिंग अप न्यू सब्जेक्ट्स जिसमें हम सबको नए नए रोल करने का मौका मिल रहा है, तो चेंज आया है।
But Mridal, you know, OTT platforms is what we're talking about, and there is a certain percentage of elitist few who are consuming OTT content, but you have the rural India, you have the masses, where dowry still exists as a problem in society, where abuse is still normalized in society. Outside of the urban India and the urban metropolitans, don't you think we have a long way to go when it comes to empowering women in our country?
Absolutely, and I must say a big thank you to all the filmmakers who are making movies like The Great Indian Kitchen, where we are literally educating the women out there that they do not. If हमें सिखाया जाता है कि if you are not deciding, someone else will decide for you.
Right.
But hold on, I'm a human and I get to decide myself. So the climax of that film was like a winner for me, because we do have an option. We can be on our own path. And I feel like we need more filmmakers who can come up with the content like this, which can not just reach to the elite audience, but to the masses as well. And women especially, girls especially, because उनको हमेशा ये सिखाया जाता है कि this is how you have to live. You raise with, you would till the age of 20, 23, 24, you live with your father and then you go get married and stay with your husband. Where's the in-between? Where do we get to discover ourselves? And I think these are the stories which are going to celebrate women. Representation, if you ask me, yes, there's a big shift. I want to just include something to that. Characters जैसे अनन्या जो तूफान में मैंने play किया, उसमें लड़की के बाल छोटे हैं. And there are so many girls who reached out to me saying that, Mrinal, I want to cut my hair, but my husband is not allowing me to cut my hair. I said, listen, it's such a small thing, but there is little bit shift. There are things that change. The way women are portrayed, and we are celebrating all age, all color, cultures, and I'm really happy that because of OTT platforms, these sensitive topics, the films have been made. और filmmakers जब वो फिल्में लिखते हैं तो ये सोच के नहीं लिखते कि कितने पैसे बनाएंगे. वो ये सोच कर लिख रहे हैं.
Because this is not being done for theatre. This is being done for a different model, which is a subscription-based model. And I think somewhere, Taapsee, that gives you the ability to be far more inclusive in terms of content. Also, shed those stereotypes that women are subject to. Earlier, you used to go to the theatre and everything used to depend on, okay, box office, this is going to be hit and that is going to be hit. But with Netflix and content coming on OTT platform, that consideration somewhere has also gone away.
Yeah, because the risk factor has reduced here, where box office was a pure gamble. Pure gamble. Like, you have no idea, your film might just not start off only. And you might think it's a very good film, but yeah, it just didn't get attention of audience. So it's a very, very crazy gamble there. Since the risk factor has reduced, so the courage has increased, where, let's just experiment thoda sa idhar bhi, ab thoda sa waisa bhi. And so that is because of the risk factor in the business has reduced.
Somewhere, Amrita, ज़माना बदल तो रहा है, और अगर ऐसा content और बनाया जाए where you're talking to the least common denominator and not preaching, from a place of privilege, it is really making a difference.
It definitely is making a difference. जैसे आपने बॉम्बे बेगम्स का उदाहरण लिया, उसमें बाकी के जो भी किरदार थे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल शहानाज कैरेक्टर, आजकल के ज़माने में हमें खुद लगता है, आई थिंक मदरहुड इज़ अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल थिंग एंड बच्चे होने चाहिए, अच्छी बात है, लेकिन अगर बच्चे नहीं है किसी को, या फिर इफ समवन डिसाइड्स नॉट टू हैव चिल्ड्रन, कुछ अधूरा है. शादी नहीं हुई है तो कुछ अधूरा है. ये टिक मार्क्स हमारे अंदर भी होते हैं. फॉरगेट अबाउट अदर पीपल सेइंग दैट टू अस. हमें खुद लगता है कि भाई अभी तक मेरी शादी नहीं हुई है तो कुछ गड़बड़ है, मेरा बच्चा नहीं है तो मैं भी एज अ वुमन आई एम मे बी इनकम्प्लीट. सो शहाना का कैरेक्टर जिस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट से गुजरता है कि शी चूजेस करियर ओवर motherhood and then she's getting criticized, but apart from the outer criticism, what about the criticism we do ourselves? Because we are raised in such a society. So I'm not saying, of course, we should have children and we should enjoy motherhood, but that doesn't something which makes you complete or something like that. You in yourself are complete, you know. So
That brings me to the point, Mrinal, that sometimes women are women's own enemies, because when you grow up, the mother will turn around and say, when are you getting married? Once you get married, they'll ask you, when are you having a child? When you have the first child, they'll ask you, when you're having the second one, as if your life is incomplete. And when they say the wedding is the biggest day of your life, as if all the other days don't matter.
Yeah, like even today, like fortunately my mother, I'm so glad that she's evolved with me, you know, in the kind of films that I've done. And to talk about sex in the family was
Yeah.
like a big thing. But now my dad is someone who's going and telling people, educating them about sex trafficking. And it's like we are talking, we're discussing, there's a conversation which has started. So I'm very thankful to my mother especially that she's never forced me to do, she's always asked me to do what I felt like doing. She said, Mrinal, this is your phase where you're doing good work, you're contributing to the society, and with the kind of work that you do, she said, I have immense faith in you that you can change, you can bring that small change, a shift with the way people look at things. And she said, मेरे ज़माने में नहीं था, लेकिन मैं चाहती हूँ कि मेरी नानी इनफैक्ट मुझे पूछती है कि बेटा आप लिविंग रिलेशनशिप के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं?
Very nice.
I was very impressed. And to people who ask me, my mother, that when am I getting married, my mother is like, whenever she wants to. And even if she
Fabulous.
doesn't want to, I'm okay with that.
That's fabulous.
Imagine an Orthodox Maharashtrian mother saying that.
And speaking of mothers, Neena ji, you're a mother. My last question is about stereotypes, right? बहुत ज़माना पहले हुआ करता था where if a woman made an announcement saying I'm your pilot and about to take off, there would be a few brows that were raised, and I would know a few sexist men who would pass.
Forget about pilot. It's like if I have to drive a car.
हाँ, तो लड़की होगी.
Actor comes and say they try किया ना इसने. इसको एक बारी करा. I ride bike on almost every second film of mine. This is like test ride हो गया ना.
That's sad.
I drove a 1985 Dodge, and I was asked 2,000 times that would you be able to drive the car, and I said, watch me.
Of course. नहीं तो नीना जी, somewhere when they are kids also, एक लड़का है, एक लड़की है. Usually the boy is pushed towards doing very heroic things and masculine things and conditioned to be, you know, that man that he's supposed to be. But the woman is asked to be a little more submissive and a little more, you know, nice and cute. And that's where that cross your legs and sit. And that's why when she grows up, probably she's not getting that much of confidence to go out there to do everything else that the man does. So somewhere, what is the advice you'd like to give our viewers today when it comes to parenting women? And that is where the tectonic shift can really begin in every household in this country possible.
The only thing I would like to say is that if you tell your sons to be respectful to women, whether they are sisters or aunties, and teach them आटा भी गूंथना, रोटी भी बनाना, और ये नहीं कि पानी का गिलास बहन लेके आएगी, भाई नहीं लेके आएगा. मेरे घर में चाहे मेरी माँ बहुत ऑर्थोडॉक्स थी, मुझे लड़कों से मिलना अलाउड नहीं था, मुझे स्विमिंग नहीं सिखाई क्योंकि लड़के होते हैं, that kind, but she was a double MA. And हम सब ने, हमारे घर में मेरे फादर, मेरा भाई, मैं, हम सब घर का हर काम कर सकते थे. अगर हम अपने बेटों को सिखाएंगे आज रिस्पेक्ट करना औरतों को और घर का काम करना जिसमें कोई शर्म नहीं है, तो कल को हमारी बेटियां जब शादी करेंगी तो they'll be better off. This is what I feel.
You know, I've read a quote what she's saying that train your daughters so well in finance that she doesn't grow up to get a master, and train your sons so well in the kitchen chores that he doesn't grow up to have a servant.
Wow, that deserves, yes, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. And on that note, we're completely out of time. We could go on and on talking about this. This is such a lovely input I've got from all you wonderful women right here. Thanks once again for your time and joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.